The razzle-dazzle of the secular Christmas season has all but wound down. Perhaps the busiest day of the Christmas shopping experience was the day after Christmas, December 26th, when unwanted gifts, wrong-size gifts, and perhaps even ugly gifts were exchanged, and the ever-growing popular gift cards were redeemed for the irresistible after-Christmas sales. Our homes are now returning to normal as the Christmas decorations are returning to storage, awaiting Christmas 2020. Perhaps we could collectively sing the old song, "What's it all about, Alfie?" We as Christians have an answer for Alfie. It's about the miracle of the Incarnation, the Word made flesh who dwells among us. Yes, that is the answer in a nutshell. From the perspective of faith, however, it is collective faith of all Christians that God so loved the world that he sent his only Son, that we might have life and have it to the full. But that good news is no longer new news. It is as ancient as the prophets who waited in anticipation of that most sacred night. It is as ancient as the scriptures of today's celebration of Epiphany. Isaiah announced to the people of Jerusalem, "See, darkness covers the earth, and thick clouds cover the peoples. But upon you the Lord shines, and over you appears his glory. Nations shall walk by your light." Admittedly, the contemporary world seemingly has plunged into darkness once again. There are unending global conflicts in government, conflicts in the church, violence in our streets, shootings in our schools, and bigotry often due to intolerance and fear. Have we lost the light? St. Francis of Assisi wondered the same. Where has the faith in the Incarnation gone? In 1223, St. Francis created the first nativity scene in a small Italian town called Greccio. The scene was based on his memory of a cherished Holy Land pilgrimage during which he had been deeply impressed by the humility of the Incarnation. On that Christmas Eve, the townspeople of Greccio gathered around the nativity scene with candles in hand to venerate the creche and give glory to the newborn King. Mass was celebrated on an altar that he had made over the manger. Francis proclaimed the gospel and delivered a homily referring to Jesus as the child of Bethlehem. The imagery of the child of Bethlehem and the glow of candlelight is so wonderfully reminiscent by the words of Isaiah, "The Lord shines upon you." It is that same imagery of light which illuminates the Magi in their sojourn, they who traveled an incredible distance by the guidance of a star to discover its meaning. Again, it is the prophecy of Isaiah brought to fulfillment, "Nations shall walk by your light." These Magi represent the entirety of God's creation to follow the light of the star, no matter where it may lead. In biblical times, stars appeared when epiphanies occurred. An epiphany literally means an appearance, a manifestation, a revelation. It also can connote a moment in time when suddenly there's understanding of truth, or suddenly becoming conscious of a reality greater than oneself. A star appeared on the night of Moses' birth. A pillar of fire led the people of Israel by night after the great Exodus. A star rises on the night of Jesus' birth. In each of these epiphanies, God intervenes in human history. God reveals a truth. God reveals a manifestation of love. The Magi came bearing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. However, their experience of an epiphany was to receive an even greater gift. In the child of Bethlehem, they were given the gift of faith. What they were hoping to see by following the star, where was the star going to lead them? We will never truly know what they were hoping to see. We do know this: they were willing to go wherever the star would lead them. Only once the star stood still did they realize that they received more than what they had brought. The Magi experienced a metanoia, a change of heart. It is fair to suggest that this one moment in time altered the course of the remainder of their lives. As the scriptures remind us, their return trip was altered due to a dream. In reality, their very lives were altered, no longer living in darkness, but living in the light of faith. These magi announced this incredulous joy to the waiting world. The child of Bethlehem was incarnated not solely for the Hebrews, but rather for all of God's children. How is it that the Western experience of Christianity has labeled Epiphany Little Christmas, when in truth it is the biggest that Christmas could ever be? Here we are in the new year of 2020. What could the Epiphany mean for our modern razzle-dazzle world? What could the Epiphany mean for each of us in our journey as we seek the meaning and purpose of our lives? First and foremost, we need to ask ourselves a basic question. Am I willing to seek a reality greater than myself? This question implies that the universe does not revolve around me. Should each of us come to that understanding that the universe, in its immensity, is greater than each of us individually and therefore collectively, we could feel humbled, as did Francis, of how would it be for a new beginning for each of us. It was the virtue of humility that enabled the Magi to be open to the possibility of the mystery of God, the Word made flesh. The Magi continue to provide stellar example of what it means to search and to follow wherever that search may lead. The Magi were not distracted by Herod's evil intentions. They persevered. Consequently, it means that we need to put aside our modern distractions. It means we need to put aside our technology for part of the day. Whether there is an iPhone, an Android, a laptop, or a PC, we need to put a pause to the constant talk, text, and allure of social media. While these modern-day tools can be extremely beneficial, they can also be an obstacle to human interaction. What is expressed in the cowardly recesses of a screen can hurt and cause even further human isolation and loneliness. The challenge of an epiphany is that the human person needs to be open to wonder and awe. Technology often eradicates that sense of awe by reducing interaction to mere pragmatism. Technology can eliminate the sense of humility as we become masters of cyberspace, or is cyberspace quickly mastering the human spirit? The Magi understood that life is relational. The human person was not meant to be the source and center of the universe. Humanity is meant to walk together, to seek the truth, and to build the kingdom together. The humble person wishes to seek the author of life. In the Judeo-Christian experience, we have named the author of life God. God revealed himself to Abraham, and Jesus reveals God as Father. How wonderful it would be if the spirit of Christmas persisted throughout the year. People walking arm in arm to solve the social, spiritual, and moral issues that darken our modern world. If only each of us could experience an epiphany and see in each other what our God sees and loves in each of us. Perhaps an epiphany could be expressed as Louis Armstrong sang so many years ago in a song entitled, "What a Wonderful World." I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed days, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. May you know a joy-filled Epiphany.